Look at the size of the spiders they have here. Oh my god. What's up guys, it's Dani. It's been a really long time since I made a video for YouTube. I haven't made one since I changed the channel name 2 years back. So in case you didn't already know, I'm in South Korea at the moment. And I'm actually here for a student exchange program to Aju University. So thank you to UKM Global for this opportunity, by the way. And since a lot of my friends and family members have been requesting me to do vlogs, I thought I'll do a quarantine tour today because I'm stuck inside for 14 days. So what else do I have to do, right? I wanted to make a quarantine tour the first day that we got here, but the thing is, things weren't exactly prepared on the first day, and I'll get a bit more into it later on. But basically, I didn't want to do a tour of a place that wasn't quite set up yet. So here I am on day 3, and I think it's finally time to show you guys around. So on the backstory of how we actually got this place, I'm going to refrain from mentioning any company names just because this is my first time here and I don't really want to paint a bad impression of the places that we've stayed and the managements we had to deal with, because maybe it's just my personal experience, not everyone has had less than pleasant experience like myself and my friend Hanisa have had. So initially we were assigned by Aju University to a management that had a quarantine facility quite close to Aju University, like maybe 20 minutes away, and it was actually a dormitory that provided a quarantine place for students from 3 universities around the Suwon area. And apparently they got overbooked and we'd already made the payments with them. So what they did was move us over to some hotels that they own, and depending on when we arrived in Korea, we were placed in different hotels, and they changed us around quite a bit. There are 2 other Malaysian students from UPM who arrived a day before Hanisa and I did. So literally a day before their flight, we all got emails saying that those of us who landed on the 13th onwards would be housed at a villa under a different management. And they sent us pictures as well, and it looked like a studio apartment, and it was technically better than being in a hotel or a dorm because we had TVs, we had microwaves, we had our own washing machine inside. So it was definitely an upgrade, right? Again, on the same day, the 2 UPM students got another email saying that no, they were going to be moved back to the hotel that we previously were assigned to. So Hanisa and I would be the first ones to land on the morning of 14th and end up coming here. And when we actually got here, it looked nothing like the picture that was sent to us. Instead, it looks more like an apartment. And I'll get into the rest of the story in a bit, but I think it's time for the tour now. Let's go. So this is the front door, and like most Korean apartments, they have a place to take off our shoes, and they've actually provided us with these slippers to wear inside the house. And once you enter, the first thing you see is this hall and the table with some essentials and the kitchen. So when we first got here, the only things on this table were these toilet rolls, and they had given us toothpaste and a toothbrush and those drinking cups with a cute little message on them, and this kettle to boil water in. And the thing about this place that we moved to, they only provide 1 meal for the first day that we arrived, which sucked because we came really early in the morning and we had nothing else to eat for the rest of the day. And the first meal that we got wasn't actually the best. So thankfully I brought my own food from home, so I got to eat something to keep myself from starving. And over here is a stove, but I'm not sure if it doesn't work or I just don't know how to turn it on. But I'm not going to be cooking much anyway, so I don't really mind. And I've got a bunch of bottled water that they've been giving us every day. And over here are all the food that I brought from home. And I kind of feel like I'm insulting all the Malaysians by choosing to bring Vico instead of Milo, but well, I was in the shopping mall and I really wanted to buy this, so I did. And I got some coffee, some biscuits, and of course, can't survive without our Maggie. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to be done with that pack by the time we're through with quarantine. And I've also brought some mushroom soup. And over here is a sink that unfortunately doesn't have any dishwashing soap, and I didn't bring any with me, so I'm just using an extra bar soap to wash my dishes at the moment. But we work with what we got, I guess. And over here is some more water bottles that they provided us when we first got here. And this is actually some alkali ion water that we were given at the PCR test place in a goodie bag. It was actually a really cute goodie bag. I'll show you guys that later. So I'm using this to like spray down clothes and whatever things I can't wipe with wet wipes. And here's a microwave that I was given, and while it works, the only issue I have with it is that it has a really funky smell that's overpowering every time I open it. So I've just cleaned it up with some wet wipes the best as I can, and I left in a small piece of my bagel that I got for breakfast that hopefully will suck up the smell. And there are some ice cube trays on top of that, but I'm not gonna be making any ice anytime soon. And I've got some extra rice from yesterday and this coffee that they provided us today. And it says here that it's best refrigerated, that's why I put it in the fridge, but I think we can heat it up in the microwave and drink it hot as well. This is Dabang Kopi Original, and I'm not really a coffee person, but I am kind of curious to see how this tastes, so I'll let you guys know in my IG stories later. So the thing about each of these apartments is that all of us have got different furniture and appliances in them, and Hanisa's room actually has a low coffee table that she uses to work on her laptop and do other stuff on. So I don't have a table like that, so I'm using my suitcase instead to have my meals on. Again, we work with what we got, right? And over here, this is actually a 2-bed 1-bath apartment kind of place. So there's a spare bedroom here that has an extra mattress, but since it's just one of me, they didn't really set it up. And they gave me this rack which I did set up to hang my clothes on, and this is something I brought from home. And over here is their heating system, and they've given a washing machine and some detergent. And this is the back view actually of the place, and that's Hanisa's room over there. It's around 1 o'clock in the afternoon right now, and it looks pretty hot, but it's actually windy like most of the time. And the good thing about these brick buildings is that the ventilation is pretty good, so it doesn't get too hot inside, and it's quite chilly in the mornings and at night, so we're pretty comfortable inside, I guess. And I left this guy here while I was cleaning just so I could show you guys. Look at the size of the spiders they have here. Oh my god, like here is a comparison to my finger, and these are so much bigger than the ones we have in Malaysia. While we were queuing up to get our PCR test done yesterday, I did see a spider web with one of these guys, and yeah, he was pretty big too. So common house spiders in Malaysia don't bite, so please let me know if these fellas do. If we go back inside, I'll now show you the bathroom. So let me just turn on the light. And this is what the bathroom looks like. So they've actually provided us with some shampoo and body wash, but I brought my own, so I don't really use that. And let me just get into my bathroom slippers so that I can show you how the shower works. Please excuse the audio for a bit because it does echo in here. So if you look at the tap, the shower head is actually connected to it, and for some reason the instructions are written in Chinese, but I managed to figure out that this little knob here, if I pull it and twist it, it kind of locks in place, and if I were to turn the tap on now, the water actually comes out through the shower head. And once I'm done, I just push it back and the water will come out through the tap if I turn it on now. So we actually do get hot water here, and I'll show you the heating system later and how it works. So this is the master bedroom, and it's got the only air conditioning in the entire place. And they've actually provided me a TV, but I haven't really turned it on since I arrived because who needs a TV when you've got Netflix, right? And since I like furniture, I've set up my mirror and my cosmetics over there. And they've given us a menu, which I think they'll deliver food if you want to order anything, but it's quite pricey. So I'm getting 3 meals a day anyway, so it's fine. So this is where I keep my antibacterial wipes, as well as the pamphlets and forms and garbage bags that they gave us at the COVID swab test place. And over here is the Wi-Fi router, and that's the goodie bag that they gave us all the things in. And my handbag, and over here is a desk and a chair where I work on my laptop in. And this is the thermometer that they provided us with at the clinic as well. And we actually have to take our temperature and log in any symptoms that we might have throughout the quarantine on the government quarantine app. And over here is the mattress on the ground. Thankfully, this place has provided us with bed sheets, covers, blankets, and a pillow, which from my understanding, most places in Korea don't really provide pillows. And while the mattress is a bit hard, the pillow is actually really soft and comfortable. I thought I might get body aches from sleeping on the mattress like this, but honestly, I've been sleeping like a baby for the past 2 days, so no complaints over there. And that's where I charge my phone and power banks. And this is the heating system for the house. So this one is actually for the indoor heating system, and how it works is that I can set it to whatever temperature that I want, and the heat actually comes up through the floor panels. And this number over here shows the current temperature, which will eventually slowly rise up to whatever temperature I set it at. And if I switch it over here, this one actually says hot water only, and this is where I can set the temperature of the water to low, medium, and high. There are 2 other functions here, but I don't really know what they do, so if you do know, please let me know in the comments below. And that is the power button. So that's how the heating system works. And the last thing to show you guys is actually the view outside the bedroom window. And if you've already seen my Instagram stories, you'll know that for some weird reason, this window frame has a lot of windows. So once I'm done opening each and every one, this is the view outside. So when I first got here, the place was pretty dirty. So I asked the host for a broom or a vacuum, and that's what they provided me with. So imagine sweeping the entire house with just that. So yeah, that's the quarantine tour. And honestly, I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with this place because we did have quite a few issues when we first got here. For one thing, the place wasn't even properly set up when we first arrived. So this mattress was just up against the wall like you saw in the other bedroom, without any sheets, without the pillow, without covers, blankets, anything. So we came here on an overnight flight, pretty tired and wanting to get some rest. And imagine walking in finding out that the bed is just a mattress on the ground and we can't even sleep on it yet. So yeah, that was the first disappointment. And because I was so exhausted from the flight over and I had to wait quite a bit for the host to come back to set up the bed, I ended up just wet wiping a corner of the floor, turning on the heating system, and I used one of my bags as a pillow, and I just took a nap on the floor. And like I mentioned before, the place was pretty dirty when we first got here, and I had to wipe up and sweep the entire place myself. And we paid quite a hefty sum just for 14 days staying here. So I didn't pay that amount to come clean up the place myself, you know what I mean? At least in a hotel, everything would have been brand new or washed, and we wouldn't have had to clean up the place ourselves because everything would be ready prior to our arrival. But what I did find out later on is that Hanisa and myself were the first to arrive here, and the Aju exchange students who arrived after us actually said that their room was much better prepared, even though still a bit dirty. And they actually had their beds made when they first walked in, so maybe they just weren't prepared for us to arrive that early in the morning. And something else that I found out is that 15th of August is actually Liberation Day here, which is a public holiday. And the host actually apologized a lot to us about how unprepared they were, saying that they were actually really understaffed because it's a holiday weekend. So honestly, after thinking about it for 3 days, I've kind of come to accept that it was just down to our luck for being the first to arrive here, and they were just simply unprepared for us to arrive that early. So I'm fine with it now, I guess. And another thing that I briefly mentioned just now is the food in this place. For some weird reason, they only provide one meal for the first day, and considering how early in the morning we arrived, we only got breakfast. And it wasn't even that good on the first day. So yeah, not the best first impression of the place when I first got here. Thankfully, the food on the second day was much better, and how it works here, unlike in the hotels and dormitories that the others are staying at, is that they deliver all 3 meals at 6 a.m. in the morning outside our doors. And since we have microwaves, we can just pick whichever meal we want and microwave it whenever we want to have it. This place is in Incheon and it's quite close to the airport, and as you saw in the view earlier, It's surrounded by villages and old towns. So I think that's the reason why they just send us all 3 meals together, because the catering is actually done by the same people who own the dorm and the hotels in Seoul, and it's quite a distance for them to travel each time. I think the biggest issue that I have with this place is the security, because there are no keys or key cards to our rooms, and when we left for our PCR test yesterday, there was no way to lock our rooms. There is a glass door at the main entrance that has a passcode, but the passcode is literally written on the keypad, so anyone can get in and get into our rooms while we're out. And as you just saw, for some weird reason, the glass door is open right now, so yeah. So what I ended up doing yesterday when I left for the PCR test is I just locked up all my suitcases and took my keys with me. And when we asked the host about getting a key or a key card to our rooms, he said that the glass door was sufficient and that we didn't have to worry because no one was going to steal anything from our rooms. And as you just saw, the glass door is open, so kind of defeats the purpose anyway. But when I am in, I can lock the door from the inside, so it's pretty safe while I'm in. But if I have to go out anywhere, that's when it gets a bit risky. And while I did have some other minor complaints about this place when I first arrived, honestly, after spending 2 days here, I'm starting to like it. Someone from the management actually came here to inspect the place yesterday, and from what he told me, this place actually costs a lot more than the hotels or the dorm room that we would have stayed at. And the only reason we were able to get this place is because they had overbooked their dorms and hotels, so they ended up begging this management to let us stay here. And if you really think about it, at a dorm or a hotel, we would just be getting a single room with less appliances. And this is literally a 2-bed, 1-bath apartment with a kitchen and a lot of appliances. So I guess we're pretty lucky to get this place. And I actually really like the view here. And I know some people would prefer a city view, but this isn't Seoul or Suwon. This is Incheon, and it's got a village vibe here, which I'm kind of digging. And we're only supposed to stay here for 14 days. And considering how it's already day 3 so quickly, I think the rest of quarantine is just going to go by like that. So as someone who likes to see the positive in everything, honestly, this place isn't too bad. So yeah, I think I've covered pretty much everything I wanted to about the place. So only thing left is to go check out the food. So come on. I've already had my breakfast today, so the only things I have left is my lunch and dinner. And unlike yesterday, they've given us fruit for every meal today, so that's nice. And they're actually giving me halal meals here, because in the previous management, I actually asked for food with no beef and veal. And when they moved us over to this management, they only provide 3 meals here, which is normal, vegetarian, or halal. So for some reason, they've been giving me halal food, which I don't really mind. I just can leave out eating the beef. And so far, I'm actually really liking the food. The first day's meal wasn't the best, but yesterday's one was really delicious, and this is not bad as well. Like, look, they've given us muffins and salads, and I'm liking the variety so far. And this is strawberry jam that I've kept for my breakfast, and they've given us some kind of soup and 2 bowls of rice, which we can heat up in the microwave when you want to have it. And they've given spoons and chopsticks as well. So yeah, that's food. I don't really have much else to do today since we are stuck indoors. I'm just gonna go have my lunch and edit this video later. But maybe one of these days I might do a day in quarantine video. And if you guys have any other suggestions for videos that you'd like to see, do drop it in the comments down below. And if you're interested to follow me on the rest of my journey in South Korea, do subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon so you'll get notifications whenever there's any new videos out. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. This is Dani, over and out.